Ukrainian forces launched a surprise offensive into Russia's Kursk region. This audacious assault has shaken the foundations of Putin's regime. The invasion exposed weaknesses in Russia's military capabilities. The citizens of Kursk now face the harsh realities of conflict. The speed of the Ukrainian advance caught Russian forces off guard. The world watches as the situation in Kursk unfolds. Ukraine's decision to strike Kursk was not random. It was a calculated move with specific strategic objectives. The invasion sends a powerful message to Putin and Russia. Ukraine will not back down in the face of aggression. The Kursk offensive disrupts Russia's operations in eastern Ukraine. Forcing Russia to divert resources relieves pressure on Donbass. This could create opportunities for Ukrainian counteroffensives. The invasion of Kursk has symbolic value. Kursk was pivotal in World War II. Ukraine invokes this history to undermine Putin's narrative. The invasion of Kursk has sent shockwaves through Russian society, shattering the carefully constructed illusion of security and stability that Putin has worked so hard to maintain. For years, state-controlled media has bombarded the Russian people with propaganda. This propaganda has painted a picture of a strong and invincible Russia, led by a decisive and infallible leader. The reality of Ukrainian troops operating freely on Russian soil has exposed the hollowness of this propaganda. The sight of Russian citizens fleeing their homes in fear directly contradicts the Kremlin's narrative of a limited military operation proceeding according to plan. The invasion has also fueled a sense of anxiety and uncertainty among the Russian population. People are starting to question the competence of their leaders. They are also beginning to doubt the official narrative coming from the Kremlin. This erosion of trust in the government could have significant consequences for Putin's regime. As the economic costs of the war continue to mount and as more and more Russian families are directly impacted by the conflict, the potential for social unrest and political instability increases. The current situation in Kursk draws unsettling parallels to historical events that have foreshadowed the downfall of powerful empires. Throughout history, seemingly invincible empires have crumbled, not from external conquest, but from internal decay and the erosion of public trust. The Roman Empire, the Ottoman Empire, the British Empire all succumbed to a toxic cocktail of internal strife, economic hardship, and overstretched military commitments. Putin's Russia, despite its nuclear arsenal and its vast natural resources, is not immune to these historical forces. The invasion of Kursk, coupled with the ongoing economic sanctions imposed by the West, has placed immense strain on the Russian economy. This strain is felt by ordinary Russians who are experiencing rising prices, dwindling job opportunities, and a decline in their standard of living. As the war drags on and the costs continue to mount, the potential for social unrest and political upheaval in Russia grows. Putin's grip on power, while seemingly absolute, is not unbreakable. History teaches us that even the most powerful empires can crumble when faced with a perfect storm of internal and external pressures. Section 5. Between a rock and a hard place. Putin's propaganda predicament. Putin's regime has long relied on its iron grip on information to maintain control and legitimacy. State-controlled media outlets have relentlessly churned out propaganda, shaping public opinion and suppressing dissent. However, the invasion of Kursk has thrown a wrench into this well-oiled machine. The reality of the situation on the ground, Ukrainian troops on Russian soil, Russian civilians fleeing their homes, directly contradicts the Kremlin's narrative. This stark contrast is becoming increasingly difficult to hide, even for a propaganda apparatus as sophisticated as Russia's. Putin's attempts to downplay the significance of the invasion ring hollow in the face of mounting evidence to the contrary. The images and videos emerging from Kursk, shared widely on social media, tell a different story. They tell a story of fear, chaos, and a government seemingly unable or unwilling to protect its own citizens. This disconnect between propaganda and reality poses a significant challenge for Putin. As the conflict escalates and its impact on ordinary Russians becomes more pronounced, maintaining the facade of control will become increasingly difficult. Section 6. High risk, high reward, potential consequences of the Kursk offensive. Ukraine's decision to invade Kursk was a bold gamble, one that carries both significant risks and potential rewards. On the one hand, the offensive has already achieved some of its strategic objectives. It has forced Russia to divert troops and resources to defend its own territory, easing pressure on Ukrainian forces elsewhere. It has also exposed the weaknesses of Russia's military and undermined Putin's credibility on the world stage. However, the long-term consequences of the invasion remain uncertain. There is a risk that the offensive could backfire, provoking a more aggressive response from Russia. Putin, backed into a corner and facing growing domestic pressure, could lash out unpredictably. This could escalate the conflict in dangerous and unforeseen ways. The international community is watching the situation closely, carefully calibrating its response. Western countries have condemned the invasion and reiterated their support for Ukraine. However, they're also wary of taking any actions that could lead to a wider conflict with Russia. Section 7. Putin's desperate measures reinforcing a faltering military. The invasion of Kursk has exposed the limitations of Russia's military capabilities, forcing Putin to confront the shortcomings of his armed forces. The Russian military, once considered a formidable fighting force, has been plagued by logistical problems, equipment failures, and low morale. Putin now faces the daunting task of rebuilding and reinforcing his military while simultaneously trying to maintain control of the narrative at home. He has a few options at his disposal, none of them ideal. He could order a full-scale mobilization, conscripting hundreds of thousands of Russian citizens into military service. However, this would be deeply unpopular, risking widespread protests and further damaging morale. It would also take time to train and equip such a large force, time that Putin may not have. Another option would be to rely more heavily on mercenaries and foreign fighters. However, this would further erode the image of the Russian military and raise concerns about its effectiveness. Section 8. A digital earthquake, the Telegram arrest and Russian communications. The recent arrest of Pavel Durov, the founder of the encrypted messaging app Telegram, has sent shockwaves through Russia. Telegram is hugely popular in Russia. It is used by millions of people, including government officials, journalists, and ordinary citizens. The timing of Durov's arrest, coming on the heels of the Kursk invasion, has fueled speculation that it is politically motivated. Some believe that the Kremlin may have pressured French authorities to detain Durov, hoping to gain access to his company's data. The arrest has raised concerns about the security of Telegram, which is known for its strong encryption. If Russian authorities were to gain access to Telegram's data, it would have serious implications for freedom of speech and privacy in Russia. The incident also highlights the growing importance of encrypted communication tools in an era of increasing government surveillance and censorship. Section 9. The Global Chessboard, International Reactions and Implications. The invasion of Kursk has sent ripples of shock and condemnation across the international community. World leaders have denounced the invasion as a dangerous escalation of the conflict and a violation of international law. Western countries have responded with a mix of condemnation and pledges of continued support for Ukraine. The United States, the United Kingdom, and the European Union have all announced new packages of military and humanitarian aid for Ukraine. They have also reiterated their commitment to holding Russia accountable for its actions through sanctions and diplomatic pressure. The invasion has also heightened tensions between Russia and NATO. NATO has condemned the invasion and increased its military presence in Eastern Europe. It remains to be seen how the alliance would respond if Russia were to attack a NATO member state. Section 10. The Fog of War. Charting the uncertain future of the conflict. The invasion of Kursk has plunged the conflict between Russia and Ukraine into a new and unpredictable phase. The situation on the ground remains fluid, with both sides suffering heavy casualties and neither side willing to back down. The coming days and weeks will be crucial in determining the trajectory of the conflict. Will Putin, facing mounting pressure at home and abroad, seek a negotiated settlement? Or will he double down on his military campaign, risking a wider and more devastating war? Will the international community maintain its support for Ukraine? Or will divisions emerge, undermining the West's united front against Russian aggression? The answers to these questions remain shrouded in the fog of war. One thing is certain, the invasion of Kursk has fundamentally altered the dynamics of the conflict, with far-reaching consequences for Russia, Ukraine, and the world.
So hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications, and let's turn the page on a new adventure together. Get ready to experience books like never before, only on VBook 360. Like, comment, and share to support the channel and keep the video magic alive. Thank you for stopping by. And remember, every video has a story, and every story deserves to be shared. See you in the next video.